Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. I don't know how this is going to go. We've got Dan and Trevor in Barcelona. They've been on the piss all day. Trevor says he's got a cold, but we shall see. We are going to talk about the Wolves' victory, that resilient display by the Arsenal at Wolves, that red card, and also why the boys are out in Barcelona heading up to Girona. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
English Premier League.
Is there anybody there?
Boys.
Viewers, apologize. I'm continue.
Boys, that is just classic, isn't it? It's absolutely classic. I love it. It's used all the time for various clubs, but it suits them very, very well right now. Dan, are you okay?
Am I okay? I'm perfectly fine. Cheers, Fergus. How are you,
Daniel,
mate?
Yeah,
You
don't
good?
worry. Yes.
Daniel, I can see you down there. I can see you hiding in the
Oh,
distance.
to be sure. Potato.
I'd be waving to you now, sir.
Oh, he's a pirate
are,
now
so
as
you
well.
Fergus, how are you
Alex-
today, my friend?
Alex, this is going to be a long show, isn't it?
Yeah, we both knew it, didn't we? When they
We
sent
did.
pictures
A long show.
yesterday.
Just like my long.
Listen.
Not now.
Not now. He said the full sentence just before we went live, and it really did throw us. Andrew, yeah, Jesus, this is the baptisms of fire, isn't it?
This is going to be an interesting show, isn't it? It's going to be good fun. This, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll have we could have 500, 600, 700 people looking at it as soon as they find out Hillsy's pissed in Barca.
Good for the ratings.
It's good for the
Fergus,
rating.
he's made me drink shots all afternoon that I didn't want to drink.
I've seen. I haven't got. They're on my other screen. Yeah, but limoncellos and beers. Beer started. What time did the beer start at? Let's have a look. I think
Dan,
the
Don't
beers-
remind me.
Dan, I think you were coming through the speakers in the room here. We were linked up.
Oh, mate, it wouldn't surprise me.
the beers are coming. Start at 2:30. So yeah, the guys are well and truly wankered. Listen, this is going to be a controversial bit of a show. Well, we're definitely going to talk about the controversy with Michael Oliver. It's so annoying. It's all about him. He's even named this podcast episode after himself. Let's look at the lineups from the Arsenal Wolves game. Before we do that, we had a nice journey up in the car, Dan, and we met and had some nice food and took the walk to the stadium. Really nice. The sun was in our eyes. Something rotten. We didn't see the first 20 minutes of the football, did we?
Mate, that feels a million miles away, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have a little flashback to then. It's a bit like today, 20 degrees outside, nice short T-shirts on, and yeah, it's nice weather today, so reminds me of
That's why I can hear him. He's not outside. He's hiding around the corner. I can see you, Daniel.
I'm trying to get away from you so you don't buy me no more shots, Trev.
I can see you hiding behind that light up there. Just see the top of your shiny head.
He's gone.
I think this means I'm in charge.
He's back.
Oh, I'm back. I don't know how long.
Can you put me in charge, mate?
No. So let's talk the football. Let's talk football. The lineup was David Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Partey, Rice, Nwaneri, Martinelli, Havertz, and Trossard. No Odegaard, he wasn't in the squad. Alex, I'll talk to you about Odegaard in a minute. But Andrew, what did you make of the lineup?
And it's a really strong lineup. I think it's, we went for it, and I think the only omission obviously was Odegaard, which we were a bit puzzled at. I hadn't heard until someone put it into the group chat. But I think one of the biggest things for me is it just shows that we're willing to go and bring the youth through. With Lewis Gay and Manweri starting, it's the stat that came out. It was the first time since February 1998 we've selected 2 English players aged 18 and under in our starting lineup for a league game. 2 points to anybody that can name the 2 players.
What year was
they're just waving.
It was on the website. I didn't read down that far. Go on.
February 1998.
I saw that Song and Fabregas were the latest under 18s, but they weren't English, obviously. But I don't know who the last 2 English players.
Why did you say that then, Alex? Why did you say that?
Shut up, Trev.
The last 2
Andrew,
English were Upson, and who played with Upson in that game? We won the game and all. Upson at the post.
It's not a very English name.
Upson.
Go on, then.
Oh, can't.
Paolo Vanessa.
Vanessa, that's it. Yeah. Paolo took the corner for the goal, I think, and Upson nicked the post, and we won. So there. We had better then than we have now.
What's your view on Odegaard not being available?
Well, obviously, I mean, we've missed him for a lot of this season, and we saw the change when he come back in, but I don't think he's been at his best the past couple of weeks. So I saw it as a good chance for Wanyeri to prove himself in the team. I think he's looked really good when he's had his little cameos when he's come on. So, I mean, obviously I was gutted that Odegaard wasn't playing, but I saw it as a good chance for Wanyeri. Obviously, he didn't get the chance in the second half because of other circumstances, which we'll talk about. But yeah.
Ferg, can I say something really debatable now, right? I don't think we missed Odegaard. I thought Wanyeri played really well first half, and I don't think we missed Odegaard. There, I've said it.
I thought he'd done. I thought he'd done very, very well, and it was a bit of a disappointment for him to come off, and we know the reason why. Trevor's ordering another beer. Albert, yes, he has been on the sauce. So let's look at look. We came into the game on the back of a 12-game unbeaten run in the league. We started very positively, Dan. I thought we took the game to them. We took it further to them when we went out to 10 men, but initially we had some good chances, didn't we?
It was all right. We wasn't too bad, but look, we had a lot of chances that we should have scored.
Yes.
On another day, a confident Havertz scores 2 or 3 in that game. I think the lads are looking really leggy, and I think we saw that towards the end of the game, obviously with 10 men, but more so even in the first half. We didn't start fantastic, and I think we've lacked the options to really rotate at the minute. And these lads that are getting criticised week in, week out, they're putting effort in a lot. You look at Martinelli, he's running up and down all game. Havertz as well, putting in a lot of distance, and they just need help. And at the minute, the club's letting them down. If I'm honest, I think it's the club that needs to get someone in to help them rotate.
What a load of old paella that is! What a load of old paella that is! Hey, we looked all right. Ferg, I sent you a little message the other day, didn't I? Right. I'll tell you what's letting us down. All the goals we were scoring with our headers earlier in the season, we stopped scoring. We've stopped scoring. Gabriel stopped putting them away. Havertz has started missing them. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you. And I think that's made all the difference. We probably missed half a dozen chances at goal in the last 2 or 3 weeks that earlier in the season would have scored them all because we were playing that well. Everything was flying in, So I don't think we look knackered. I'm really honest. It's not as knackered as I feel now. Let me tell you.
To be honest, Havertz had 3 clear opportunities, 2 in the first half and 1 in the second half. All came from headers, as you said rightly, Trevor. And I know you just carry on drinking, okay?
Can I just say, because I'm now confident after a shot, Trevor, you're talking at your backside, mate, because we look tired as a team and we look like we need help from people to support the team rather than the squad and the manager getting criticised. It's the club letting them down and they need to support us better.
Well, I thought there was only one team that was going to take the lead, and that was the Arsenal, to be honest, from kick-off.
Well, I might lead you into something, Fergus, here, but wasn't the big first chance of the game theirs on the counter? I can't remember who put it over the bar, but was it Larson or Sarabia or one of those that I think put it over the bar?
Sarabia, yeah.
Yeah, Sarabia, he put it over the bar. So and they did look quite strong in the first 20-25 minutes. Let's talk Havertz though. So a lot of people criticise Havertz. I thought his work
Can we
rate.
sing? Can we sing his name? Samina, waka waka, 50 million down the drain. Kai Havertz missed again, but he's still good. He's still
Trev,
good.
I was just about to sing it in Turkish there, mate, and you stole my thunder. But never
Oh,
mind.
mate, I'll tell you what, are we going to that Turkish kebab house over the road when we're done with this? We're just
I
eating
don't know,
nice
mate.
bit
I
of
heard they all just talk out their backside, so probably not.
Dan, I think I've wound you up because you don't need your microphone, mate. I can hear you. breathing down
270
there.
people that are watching us right now. This is not normal for us. Trevor and Dan have been up since very early this morning, flew out to Barcelona in preparation for the Girona game on Wednesday. And Trevor's had a bit too much night nurse, I think.
I'm on water.
Listen, I'll come to you, Alex, for a little bit of common sense to start off with. Havertz had 3 opportunities, 2 in the first half, 1 in the second half, all from headers, as Trevor correctly pointed out in his message to me, that we have an issue at the moment with headers, or do we have an issue with headers? Because Gabriel has missed a few as well from the set pieces. If we look at some of the stats for Havertz, he's ran the most distance covered in the Premier League, 123 kilometers. And we saw him at the weekend as well. He ran his socks off. He was absolutely shattered at the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up what player he is. Havertz, he'll get his goals. He'll probably get over 20 goals this season in all competitions. But he works immensely hard. But we need that prolific goal scorer next to him to get the goals. But I don't know about the heading, because he scored a pretty good header last game against Aston Villa, didn't he? But yeah, for sure he missed some big opportunities. Fuck, what is this, Trev?
No, ignore him. Just carry on. Just talk. I'm not even looking at him.
Yeah, I mean, he misses chances. He's not the clinical striker that will get us 30 goals a season in the Premier League. So we definitely need someone up top. And I agree with Dan. The club needs to bring someone in before the transfer window ends. I've seen talks of Evan Ferguson. He's a different type of striker to Havertz. I don't think he'll take us to the next level. But he could be an option if there's nothing else available on a permanent transfer.
Alex, he's another Kallstrom, mate. He's another Kallstrom that's going to come in with a broken back. If you're going to bring in a player, bring in a player that's fit, not that's been out injured all season. It's,
I think it would be horrible to Havertz to bring a player in like that, because Havertz has run his nuts off all season, played superbly in my view. And we need to bring someone in that's going to help Havertz out, not someone, as Dan rightly said just then, who's injured all the time and may have to be carried. Havertz carries enough already. You know what I mean? The boy's a star boy, Havertz, right? The people are nagging at him. I don't know why they're nagging at him. He scored 14 goals and he's got a bit unlucky at the weekend. I feel for Havertz. I really do. I really think that he's having a wonderful season for us.
Can you imagine if he goes on the scoring spree now to the end of the season? All those people that have been slagging him off and everything will be actually singing his name. You know, and it's not going to take much. He's not missing by much. And a couple of those headers of the weekend were only just over the bar. And I think one of them was tipped over the bar by Sarr, wasn't it? And he's getting into the spaces. And if you getting into the spaces, he's going to score.
But Andrew, what's a scoring spree for Kai Havertz? Because his numbers for a guy that's not prolific are pretty good. And people forget this guy came in as an 8 and he played centre forward because he covered a hole for us. And he outperformed his position. And he's doing us a favour by playing there. And I think people don't realise that. They realise that we haven't got the striker in that we wanted. We wanted a striker in the summer. We didn't get him. We quite clearly want one in the January window. We haven't been able to get the one that we target. And yet we criticise the guy that's putting in effort for our team out of position and still doing pretty damn good, if I'm honest.
Dan, we even said on Saturday in the stands, Havertz shouldn't have missed those at least those 3 opportunities, at least 2 of them for sure, he definitely should have. But he's not an out-and-out striker, and we're depending on him to be that striker. I get your point that the club are slightly responsible for letting the team down by not having that player, but that has transpired because of the injury to Saka and the injury to Jesus. Jesus only a couple of weeks ago. So, the transfer window, I think the plans were never to bring a striker in this transfer window. It was always to bring a striker in the summer window, but we've been fast forwarded. Do you want anybody, a Ferguson, as people said, do you want a Ferguson? He couldn't be on a loan because we've already got 2 players on a loan. We'd have to buy him. Do you want a player like that? Or would you rather not buy anybody and have, unless we can fast forward a summer transfer, we shouldn't buy anybody, is my view.
Well, firstly, Ferg, has that been the case? Because I think quite clearly the club wanted someone in the summer and they haven't got the targets that they wanted. So something went wrong at board level that they didn't get in the people they wanted. And everyone seems to put this criticism towards the players that are playing or the manager. And from what we've heard, the players have said they need help. The manager has said he wants a striker. The club tried to sign a striker in the summer and it didn't happen. I think if they could have got their target, they would have got someone like a Sesko in already. I think it's the club letting us down at the minute, and I think the club underperforming from where we are as a squad and a management team. And I do agree with you that it's better bringing in no one than someone that's going to waste a spot. If we could get something like Neto released on a free and we sign him for 6 months and then loan someone, it's better than no one because we need bodies in. But I certainly wouldn't be going wasting, well, not even 80 million, but 60, 50, 40 on Acuna that I think after 3 or 4 months won't have a place in our starting 11 definitely, and would be a rotating part of our squad. And people seem to want to just spend money on anyone to get a number in. That, in my opinion, would ruin our summer window.
Look right. Look right. What did Arteta say to us? I will never buy anyone that won't improve this club, right? He's not going to panic buy, never ever. And 20 million strikers, as soon as the Arsenal come calling, become 40 million strikers, right? 40 million strikers, as soon as the Arsenal come calling, become 60 million strikers. That's what people do. That's how they make their money nowadays. But going back to this Ewan bloke, if Arteta's true to his word, he's not going to sign him, is he? Because I can't see how he improves us. And I honestly think that would be disrespectful to Havertz, to chuck someone like that in with Havertz. Because for me, Havertz has been the star boy this year. He's run his socks off, So I'm with you, Fred. I don't think we're going to sign anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, well, definitely the Cunha guy that they were linking to that we saw play on the weekend against us.
Oh,
yes, he showed a couple of flashes here and there, but he's not the player. He's not 80 million. Even the Wolves fans themselves that we were talking to when we were walking back to the car were saying he's worth 20, 25 million tops. Let's go.
I can't remember who was talking to you the week, and we were saying about striker positions. I think it was Lyle. I'm not sure, but we were saying about you'd want a striker that troubles our back too. Saliba and Gabriel. If they give them a rough time, like Isak did, they're the players we want to be going for because they're
Absolutely.
the top.
Yeah, that was good. It was Lyle, I think. Yeah, it was Lyle.
I completely agree with that.
One of the issues that we'll go on to the red card in a second. One of the issues that we had was the delivery for the corners. Who was doing the corners on
Trossard? Trossard was doing it on his left foot, on his weaker foot, and it hit the first man every single time he did it.
Alex, he was awful, wasn't he?
I don't know. It was it was very arrogant, like doing it on his weaker foot. I feel like instead of, I don't know who should have taken it instead. Maybe Lewis Skelly before he went off. But
the thing is, though, Alex, right? You had Saka out injured. You had Wanyeri went off at half time. Lewis Skelly was sent off. So what other left footers have we got in that team?
That's what I was thinking. But I think it was. Yeah. I feel like it was before half time. He did it, wasn't it? He was taking the corners.
There was a couple. There was some from Trossard. Even Declan Rice, by the way, his corners were poor. Like we went into last week about where we went into last week of where like Raya stands on the corner, and I think from what was meant to hit the back post, they couldn't clear the first man. So the corners wasn't great, whoever took them. But agreed, like They clearly want an in-swinging corner, not an out-swinging corner.
Yeah.
Should we get to it then? Should we get to this point? The show's named after the man. It's Micael Oliver, the Micael Oliver Show. Welcome to the Micael Oliver Show. It's not Guns and Yellow Ribbons anymore. Let's have a look at the tackle in the first place. The tackle in the first place was when Doherty was running away from his own box. He was about 10 yards outside the Wolves box. And Miles Lewis Skelly clips him. We were at the other end of the pitch, and I could see lots of Wolves players around him. And I thought, oh, he's going to get a card for that. And I did think, it's a good job it's that far down the pitch. Because it was a purposeful tackle, but by no means did I ever expect anything more than a yellow card coming out. Andrew, your view, because you were watching on TV, you could hear all the rigmarole of what people were saying, commentator-wise on TV. What was your thoughts?
Straight away, it's a booking, isn't it? I mean, it's what they call as a tactical foul. He stopped the lad from breaking. He stopped them from getting up the pitch from a corner. To slow the play down and to stop them from, so we can get back and get into shape. So it's a yellow card, all day long. And what really infuriated, and to be fair, the commentators were kind of like absolutely arms up in the air and shouting at it straight away, saying, "How is that a red card?" And what really annoyed me is that kind of when they showed the replay on TV, they were trying to find this angle of him scraping his studs down the back of his ankle. And they kept slowing it down, and they kept showing it at different paces. And it's like you're looking for a reason to justify it being a red card. And I think
what's really good. The TV done that. The TV took the opportunity to look for the foul, but Micael Oliver didn't give VAR, didn't give anybody the opportunity to look at it. Dan, we talked about this in the car on the way back, and you were fuming at the point at the time. Half time, you were seething. Honestly, you weren't pleasant to be beside at all, because you were just absolutely livid with the decision, because we thought it was ridiculous. And as we're driving down the M6 or whatever it is, you've come along, eventually gone, hold on a second. I think I can see maybe. Still didn't believe it was a red card, but you slowed it right down to nearly nothing.
Listen, that's firstly massively giving him the benefit of the doubt, right? But from firstly seeing it in the ground, you see 70 yards from goal, you see a trip, and you see a very street smart foul. All day we were sitting there thinking yellow, nothing else. Pulls out a red. Honestly, I was shocked, couldn't believe it. And then watched it back. But this is exactly what you guys were just saying, is that you had to slow it down to see that the point of contact was just above, maybe around his calf level, as opposed to this image where it lands on his foot. And don't forget, they look firstly at the point of contact rather than where the foot lands. But by their own definition of rules, they look at the point of contact and is there excessive force or brutality. And I can understand Oliver saying, okay, he's caught him very high, his studs are up. Maybe that could be a red, maybe. And that's me being really nice to him, because I think he's made a horrendous decision. But I can understand him saying that. But at that point, VAR has to say there's no excessive force, there's no brutality. The letter of the law says this. It should not be a red card. And
this is my point to it.
It goes on, mate, and when you've got people like Jamie O'Hara and the other guys like that agreeing, saying it should be a yellow card, you know it's not a red. But it frustrates me with VAR, because it's very much just let's support our mates and tell them they're right, rather than let's get to the right decision. Because VAR in principle is a fantastic thing, and what we all want is the right decision, whether it's for us or against us. At the end of the day, for the integrity of football is get the right decision. Yet you've got a guy sitting there watching his mate saying, don't want to pull him up, don't want to make a show of him and say that he's wrong. I don't agree with all the abuse that he's got this week, but let's separate that from the decision. The decision is horrendously wrong.
Trevor, Simon, you bumped into Simon. You could have said hello to me. I was right beside you at the time as well, Simon. You bumped into Simon at Wolves, and Simon has got a great point here again. Why didn't VAR at least make Oliver go over to the screen and take a second look?
Well, I'm reading today on some of the news channels. I'm reading today that VAR people might be scared of Oliver. might be too much in awe of Oliver to send our top referee to question our top referee's decision and send him to the screen. This is what I'm reading. But you know, it's really interesting because I'm hearing Gallagher and O'Hara and Micah Richards and a plethora of other people that earn their money from being football pundits or being opinionated on football, and they've all said what we all know, right? It's not a red card, but we all know that. We all know that already. I want to hear you go a step further. You boys are the leaders with your opinions. You're the ones that are out there talking to millions of people every week. Don't tell me it's a yellow. It's not a red card. Well, I already know it's not a red card. Tell me what can be done. Tell me if you boys have got the bottle to lead something to put this right, because it really was a travesty of justice. But do you know what? Taking it a step further, Ferg, right? Taking it a step further, I actually thought, right, that it showed me what a fantastic football team we've got at the Arsenal. I had my doubts about it, right? But at half time, he's taken Wanyeri off and brought Calafiori on. An inspired substitution, an absolutely inspired substitution in that situation. And although we were 10 against 11 for however long it was in the second half, we looked like the team that was going to score. We come out and took the game by the scruff of the neck, moved the ball nicely. And I was absolutely over the moon that not one head dropped. Not one head dropped. And you're still feeling like we're going to win the game. So at the end of the day, out of adversity comes positives. And I'm really positive about what we saw after half time. I thought we were absolutely superb. And I felt sorry for Nwaneri, but bringing Calafiori on to cover that gap and bomb forward. Unbelievable.
We'll get into that. I just want to finish off on the red card before we go into that. So, as you said, there was comments from John Cross. There was comments from Match of the Day. There was Mark Chapman, Henry Winter, Chris Hackett. To be honest, until today, when Sky started their PR crap that they do to support the PGMOL and a VAR decision, they're clearly on the take, in my opinion. So that's my own opinion.
That's Fergus's opinion, by the way.
Yeah, you're all right, lads. I just find it sickening when you hear how Sky come out and say stuff and justify stuff. But even on Sky Live,
well, Fergus, I'll back your opinion.
Okay, thanks. But even Mike Dean, who's not a great fan of the Arsenal, he came out and said he thinks we'll win our appeal. Clearly, that doesn't seem to be happening. Alex, I've got some stats on here about Michael Oliver. He's done lots of red cards against Arsenal, and it would seem it's quite a high proportion against us. Off you go, Alex.
Yeah, and also I saw just before coming on here, when you look at the penalties as well, he's given more penalties against Arsenal than any other club, and he's given less penalties to Arsenal than any other club. So it's a full house for Michael Oliver against the Arsenal. And I think when you start to look at the individual red cards, we've just seen the numbers now, which is higher than any other club. But then you look at the individual incidents as well, you start to question if there's something wrong, because, I mean, we saw a lot of the incidents from the City game last season where Kovacic, he firstly tackled Odegaard from behind, studs up on his ankle, yellow card. Then he did nearly the exact same thing to Rice and then didn't get a yellow card. And then we see in this game with Louis Skelly, he was also the one who sent off Trossard, second yellow in the game against City.
Martinelli twice.
I think, Martinelli twice against Wolves again. I think it's only fair that we start to question his integrity and how he referees us.
It's not just his as well. It's also the PGMOL as well. They have a definition for a high tackle, and they said that it was that tackle was high, and also that it was serious foul play. Well, the amount of tackles that go down people's ankles, or not down people's ankles, but it was more the side of his boot that made contact. Their definition, the definition of a high tackle was this one here. They used this picture as a definition yet again, which Michael Oliver, I believe. It wasn't even given as a penalty for Liverpool. So it's not just Arsenal that get picked out of this. I'm loath to say that it's an Arsenal thing. Yes, Michael Oliver does seem to have it at us, but I'm sure other clubs must find the same. For me, it's the standard of refereeing overall is just shocking.
It is. But you know what? Who else has got to do as well? Darren England's got to take responsibility for some of this as well. He was sat in the VAR room, and not once did he did. And you listen to the interview with Keith Hackett. Keith Hackett is telling, he's coming out and saying that Michael Oliver has got to take a minute there to understand what's just happened and to process it instead of going straight for his red card. But why at that point is Darren England not gone? You got that wrong. That's not a red card. It's a booking. Right. But I come back to it again. Fourth officials there as well. There's so many people that have seen that. I think, now you've said it, I think you might be right. Maybe they are scared to overrule Oliver.
It's Harry Symeou used some great words after the Arsenal game. I respect Harry very much, right? Just going back to, you can say about Oliver, you can say he finds unique ways to send players from the field, right? Now, if we could leave it at that, you'd think, well, he's just that kind of ref. But you have to add to it. He finds unique ways of sending Arsenal players from the field, right? And there's too much of a pattern now, right? There's too much of a pattern. And Harry, God bless him, he said, it'll never change. Not while you've got, right, incompetence without consequence, right? And that is exactly what Micael Oliver has got. And some of the other refs. Incompetence without consequence, right? It's never going to improve. It's never going to improve. Because they're saying it's always our fault. We're just fans. And we watch the game from a biased perspective. Well, of course we watch the game from a biased perspective. And if Micael Oliver had taken one or two opportunities to send Arsenal off in unique circumstances, we'd say, yeah, we look at it from a biased perspective. Could have happened to anybody. It's happened too much now. Too much. There is no argument for saying that Micael Oliver refs the game how he sees it. He may ref games how he sees them, and then he refs Arsenal how he sees us. It's too much. It's not. It's gone past us saying it's just luck of the draw. It's not. Something goes on in that man's mind, and he finds a way. He finds a way to reduce Arsenal's players on the field, and something's got to be done. But I'm not holding my breath, boys.
I'll be honest, Trev, right? The thing I have a problem with isn't necessarily always a decision, right? And you can go back to the Martinelli sending off against Wolves. They were both individually yellow cards. And I can see why he gave 2 yellow cards, and I can see why he got a red card. I can see why he got a second yellow against Man City, because he kicked the ball away. I can even see why Lewis Skelly got a red card, even though I don't think it is one. I can see why it was given. But the problem here is, where's the consistency with other teams? And it always seems to be Arsenal that gets the first way of this being a red card, and then I don't see it again. And then you add that to the fact that you've got Mike Dean coming out saying, I didn't want to send my friend to the screen because he was my mate. You've got other referees saying, that they didn't want to make certain decisions, or they don't like certain clubs, or they've even come out and said to Danny Simpson from Leicester saying, we want you to win the league.
God,
You've got referees going over to Saudi being paid by clubs. Even if there's nothing going on with that, but you're being paid by a club that's in the Premier League, it's wrong. We should be totally independent and have consistency of decisions. And at the minute, they're giving us a view as fans to be able to come up with these conspiracies, or whatever you want to call them. They're making decisions that we're not seeing week in, week out. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're fans that are paying a lot of money to see football, and we're getting a pretty poor end product at the minute, because all we want is the same rules applied to every single team. And then
Dan, here's one
if every
for you.
team gets the same thing, I'm happy. Like, fine.
If Gomez isn't booked, right, and he makes that tackle on Timber,
we're going to go into that one.
Does he get sent off?
Before we move on from this, just finishing off on the red card side of things. There is this tweet that was put up by Andy Kelly. Andy Kelly's really a statistician that him and Mark, they do the history stuff and the stats. We've done some the history podcast series with them, and there's some really interesting stuff. But look at this. Time for an update. Under Arteta's rule, Premier League games played 195, red cards 19. That's 1 in every 10 games. Europa League and Champions League, playing in Europe, we played 41 games under Arteta, 1 red card. That's 1 in 41. And this is why I say it's not necessarily all on Oliver, although we have our views on Oliver. It's on the PGMOL. The standard of refereeing in this country is absolutely flipping shocking.
Let Ferg listen, right? Now, this is his words, not mine. You boys know this. When you've got Howard Webb coming out and saying that Oliver didn't send Kovacic off because he wouldn't want to unduly influence the game. That was Howard Webb's words, right? He didn't send Kovacic off because he wouldn't want to unduly influence the game, right? But then you see all the decisions Oliver gives against us, right? Don't ever go us as Arsenal fans for calling this out, because you people may be scared to say stuff, in the press and other referees and that. But we're not. We're fans, and that nails it for me. That was Howard Webb's words, right? Our chief top man in the PGMOL, right? Top man. It doesn't get any higher. So what he says should be gospel. And I'm going to repeat it again because it's really important. Oliver didn't book or send Kovacic off because he wouldn't want to influence the game unduly. That was Howard Webb's words on Micael Oliver reffing Man City. You can't say that about him reffing the Arsenal. He finds a way. Oliver finds a way. And I'm not having it any other way.
I'm also surprised, just quickly, Ferg, I'm also surprised and also not surprised at the same time about how quickly the whole David Coote situation just got swept under the carpet. I mean, no one's talked about it since it came out. Took a week and then no one's really spoken about it. And that was one of the referees who was reffing the games week in, week out. And then we all saw what he was doing. So I think that's only opened up more suspicion from fans and just adds
but they're trying to do that again, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's
I get what you mean. Listen, we got to halftime 0-0. There was 5 added minutes in that first half. And it was a bit nervy, but I said to you, Dan, I just wanted to get it in 0-0. Substitutions were made, as you said, Trevor. Nanweri, who had a great first half, was replaced by Calafiori, who was outstanding in my view. I thought the jury was out for me on Calafiori, but he's scored 2 important goals. He's got a goal against City, and he's got a goal against Wolves. And if we hadn't scored that goal, if we dropped 2 points there, I think the title race is over. Dan, do you want to?
Yeah, I said the same to you. I honestly thought that if we didn't win that game, has Fergus gone to empty his bag?
I've been on a beer all day.
No, I've gone to get a beer. I've gone to get a beer. You just get a beer there. Carry on talking.
I had to go and point Percy at the porcelain after a couple of beers.
Oh, honestly, I think Fergus's bag burst about at least 2 or 3 times at Wolves, but he won't tell anyone about that. So let's keep it between us. But I fully agree. Honestly, if we didn't win that game, I think Ipswich obviously was for me a given win for Liverpool. So you've got Liverpool guaranteed to win that game. And Alex, you might be able to come in here with stats, but I can't remember a game where we've come from behind or won a game with 10 men in recent seasons where we've not been winning at the time the man was sent off. So for us to have a man sent off and to go on to win that game, for me was a one-off that I've not seen before and a huge result impact for our season. I genuinely think them players can
I've got that. Bear with
and be galvanised. Go on, Andrew. Over to you.
I'm going to find it. Keep going. I'm going to find it because I read it earlier.
Keep going. That's all I've got.
Keep going. A bit longer.
Come on, I've got nothing else to say. Alex, say something.
No, I'm back. I'm here. I could hear you all along. Look, we came out all fired up in that second half. Rice found Gabriel, and we with a good cross, and Rice found himself. Can't even read my own notes. Rice had a couple of opportunities. Yeah. Rice had a couple of opportunities to score. Gabriella came close with a header that went over the far post. And then Wolves were pushing hard on us. They had a few opportunities and worked David Raya quite well.
I like when
He
we push hard.
Chan and Sariba had shots, and then later Cunha and Ait Nori had some made him. I'm shit at this. You guys are really throwing me.
Hang on, was that Sariba? Is that Saliba's cousin?
It's Saraba, is it? Sariba? I fucking don't know. Fuck you guys, honestly.
Right. Okay. I can take
Found it. I've got it.
After half time, right? Wolves thought they were going to come out second half with their extra man and dominate the Arsenal. And they got the shock of their lives because inspirational substitutions, 10 men running themselves into the ground, made sure that, in fact, Wolves spent the time before their player was sent off, a lot of it on the back foot. Yeah, they had their breaks. Yeah, they had their chances. When they had their breaks, Raya was up to the job, which was wonderful. And then they got a player sent off. And as soon as that player from Wolves got sent off, credit to the Arsenal fans, what's the first thing that happened? They sung Michael Oliver, It's All About You. Even though it was the Wolves player that got sent off, credit to the Arsenal fans. I applaud you for that. But once it went 10-10, I don't know about you boys, I couldn't see any other win apart from the Arsenal.
I thought we were going to win it even when we went down to 10 men. I still thought we were going to win this.
Yeah,
So,
Andrew, we first sung to this guy in the pink shirt over to the side of us that the kid is not yours, but we then went on to sing Michael Oliver, It's All About You.
Oh yeah, that guy got abused the whole game, didn't he? And the other guy, who was the other guy? The darts player.
Oh yeah, there was a bald guy that was there, and he came over to the front, and we went through the Stevie Bold song, and then Michael Van Gerwen.
Yeah. Andrew, you made a really good point about this tackle that Gomez made. He went off for a second yellow card, but in reality, it could have been a red card. And your point was, if he didn't get his first yellow card, which was for kicking the ball away, we've seen another team get it for kicking the ball away.
First time in ages.
First time, bar an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Would do you think? And it's who knows? We'll never know the answer. But do you think Oliver would have just given a yellow card for that, and would it VAR intervened? Who knows? I suppose.
We don't know, do we? I mean, it'd be great to have seen it roll out that way. To see that if he'd have turned around and he hadn't been booked at that point, he's given it for against Skelly for saying it's high. So when they played it back, and on the VAR said, the reason the VAR have said that that's the sending off is because it's dangerous play and it's high. So if that's high, that's 2-footed, and that's really bad. I mean, that straight red card. But Keith Hackett come out and said the reason why he didn't do red is so that he can't appeal it. So he reckons Michael Oliver's been clever.
Can I come in with something really important here? I'm sorry to interrupt, but something really important here. Dan, it's your round, son.
Say your point and then go and buy a beer.
I will. I don't think that's a red card from Gomez, and I think what we need to be careful of as fans is we're analysing still images, right? Now, that image on its own looks like a red card. Now run the whole video through, and you will see a completely different thing, where actually his left leg isn't off the ground, and it isn't a 2-footed challenge. It's a 1-footed challenge, but he lands on top of his boot. And if that was the opposite way round, I would say I would want a yellow, not a red. It's a bad tackle. It's very late. It's a second yellow. He deserves to go off. He had one earlier on in the half that he should have been sent off beforehand. It's nice.
If VAR is saying for the Skelly challenge, the reason they sent it off is they sent him off because it's high, then that's higher than Skelly.
It's not higher because again, still image. You look at the still image, and you see Lewis Skelly land lower. His initial point of contact was around the calf muscle. So the initial point of contact was higher.
I think you need to stop talking and get a beer for Trevor before he actually loses.
No, I'm just gonna keep him looking parched over there in the corner for a while. But yeah. Anyway, for me, the Lewis Skelly one was a higher point of contact. The Gomez one.
Heath has ordered you. Get him in, Dan.
You know what?
I found it. I found the Arsenal stat anyway.
I can listen. Inside information here. Dan is on the move. walking
He's
towards
moving to
the
the
bar. It's going to happen. He's
We drawn him a
the
match.
barman's there, Dan. The barman's there, son. The
Oh,
barman's there
cerveza, por
behind you.
favor.
He's dodged the barman. He dodged the barman. He's going to come and
Straight to the
interfere with my
toilet.
camera now. Look.
Hey.
Listen, Martinelli's cross was half cleared. I thought Martinelli had a good game. Some did criticise him, but
Didn't he
I
play
thought
well first?
I thought he did, and there was somebody on the Arsenal fans forum on Facebook was quoting him off, and I went, hang on a second, he's just given the assist for the goal. The goal was really, really good. One that he's got beers coming by this guy, Ricardo Calafiori. He scored his second very, very important goal for the Arsenal. It was right in front of us where me and Dan were, and Mike, who's in the chat, and a few of the other guys. And it didn't look, I don't know what it looked like on telly, Alex, but it didn't look like a proper shot. It looked a bit like a scuffed cross.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird strike. I don't know if I think he meant it. I think it was.
Of course he did, Alex.
Yeah,
I think it was not Alex.
I think it was a shot on goal. Not as clean as the one against Man City where he had a big run up for it, but kind of the same style with a bend on it towards the far corner, and
Alex,
just squeezed in. Yeah, Trev.
Alex, listen, right? You'll know the answer to this. So I'm going to ask you. Calafiori's injuries, right? Has he always suffered with injuries before he came to the Arsenal, or have we just got unlucky and we're going to see a really good player coming through?
He struggled with injuries. He had a bad ACL injury at Roma, I think, early on in his career.
Oh, okay.
So he has struggled before he came to us. But, I mean, there's a player there. We just need to keep him free of injuries because he changes games when he comes on. And I think if we see him get a proper run of games, I think we've got a good player. But Lewis Skelly as well. We've got some good left backs at the moment. Haven't we?
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much.
Hola.
Hola.
Dan's bought a big beer. This could be.
I know. We'll have this on
luckily,
camera.
Luckily,
Trev buys
it's only
little
the second
beers.
beer
Dan
of the
buys
day,
big beers.
Yeah.
I've not had many today, so I can handle
Right.
it.
Right.
But
So
Calafiori, Ferg, this boy, he sort of nailed me down against Wolves. I had my doubts, but my God, he came on and he put a shift in, didn't he? So pleased with him.
Quality. Yeah.
So, guys, we got 641 people watching us at the moment. Many of you are
God,
there.
this is a bad day to watch this.
642. It's going up. Yeah. So, guys, everyone can see you getting pissed. Our motto is by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. We have a beer. We talk about football exactly like we would when we're down.
Fergus. Our motto is send a beer to table 47 in Barcelona Rec Adults Hotel.
Right, Adults Hotel. That sounds really
That
dodgy.
sounds really dodgy. That was bad.
Yeah.
It does. On that note, let me just go on camera.
You can actually lay in bed and see who's in the shower, which I thought was a bit, spooky.
Trev, no.
I thought to myself, thank fuck I'm not sharing a room with Fergus.
Honestly, Ferg, it's a great setup because
shower.
you can literally see you've got this big square bed with pillows on each side, and you can see directly in the shower. I just wish I'd shared with someone that was half decent. At the minute, yeah, it's a shame really, but I'm glad I didn't share with you or Trev.
So listen. The point is, if you're watching on Twitter and you like this sort of stuff that we do go over to YouTube, like and subscribe. It does help us out, and you get notifications when we go live as well. The last person I want to talk about in that match was Declan Rice. We touched on it in the very beginning. Declan Rice in that number 8 position, especially in the second half, I thought he was outstanding. And we've had the debate many times down about whether he should be a 6, an 8, and everything else. For me, Alex, he's an 8. He has to be an 8 for us, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it feels like he's sort of warmed to it this season. I feel like he looked a bit leggy and a bit tired initially, perhaps after the Euros. Played so many games last season, but I think in the start of the season he looked tired. But he's certainly found some form at the moment. And I think in this game against Wolves, I think he did really well in the 8. Pops up in advanced positions in the box, kind could have easily had a goal as well. And I think he helps us in the press. I think that's where he's at his best, pressing really high against the teams. And yeah, he almost snitched it off a couple of times in his pressing high. So yeah, I think at the moment, especially with how well Partey's playing, I think it should be Partey playing the playmaking 6 role, and then with Rice in the left 8.
Just to let people know in the private chat, Dan's just had to go for a wee, so he can't.
Actually, I never saw him. Listen, right, but
you're take you with me.
No, you
Declan
don't need
Rice's
to.
engine, right? Declan Rice's engine was like off the scale, up and down, getting in the little tackles that you don't notice, but that shut down opposition movement. You know, sticking a foot in them, taking the ball off them. But what must be said as well, and you just talked about it, Ferg and Alex, is that behind him, Partey quietly went about his business and had an amazing game as well. Just played the game he needed to play and let Rice go. Superb. I'm going to have a drink for that.
With the reported incoming Zubimendi in the summer, that would cement his 6th position, and he would go into that 8th position, and that would give us that. Would that satisfy what you've been moaning about to me every game, Dan?
Yes, because Rice is not a 6. Trevor, drink your drink and buy another round. Listen, Ferg, Rice, mate, is not a 6. He isn't good enough on the ball on the half turn. In that area when he's under pressure. No, he's not, Trev. Like, that's not his game. But what he's good at
we're having fucking words.
You come down because you're still wrong, mate. Don't matter how drunk you are, you're wrong. Listen, Rice, he's got a great engine. He's up and down. He plays in that Xhaka role fantastically. He's a box-to-box player. He isn't the player like Partey, who is fantastic on the half turn, takes the ball, breaks the lines very quick. And Zubimendi is the same. Zubimendi is like a Jorginho with added pace and arguably better vision. And he's the sort of player we need in this squad if we're going to transition quicker and break lines quicker. What we actually need is probably another 8 as an alternative to Rice, like a Cazorla type player, that when we're playing against a low block, that we haven't got a Rice in that situation. We've got someone like a Cazorla that can break lines even further up the pitch. At the minute, we don't have that option. But Rice being that 6, isn't quick enough. He's a bit like Lokonga when he used to play there. Had all of the game, but was that split second too slow compared to Partey.
Okay. He said in his interview, I think a few weeks ago, he prefers. Well, he said in an interview last season that he hadn't played at an 8 before. He was finding it exciting, and I think recently he said he prefers and wants to play in that number 8. Another interesting stat from the Arsenal. Arsenal are the only Premier League team in history that have won 38 matches. When they had a player sent off and they've lost 35. So, it's a good stat. And there was a comment in the chat, which I starred, which I wanted to bring up, which is a really good one as well, which is Arsenal subs and motivation won us that game. Credit to Arteta. Arteta, sorry, mate. I'm dealing with you two who are shit-faced, and I'm dealing with all these... I'm dealing with all these other things. And as Simon says, how's dry January going for you lads?
I never committed to dry January. I'm going for dry February, March and April. But I won't for him winning.
Dry Jan, dry beer, dry gin. It's very dry. There's no rain here in Barcelona. It's dry. Dry Jan.
Dry Jan. Next up, Girona. That's why you guys are out there. We complete our Champions League campaign up.
By Girona.
Jesus Christ. Listen, Girona. We'll never finish on an hour. It's never happened. It's up to 665 that are seen you pissed now, Trev. So we complete our Champions League campaign on Wednesday away to Girona. We're virtually assured of a place in the top 8, but we can still finish second if Barcelona lose. Girona are coming in off the back of 3 straight defeats and are sitting 8th in the Spanish league. They only beat Slovak Bratislava in the Champions League. Liverpool and Milan only managed to get 1 goal past them, but 1, and PSV but four past them. They sit 31st in the Champions League on 3 points. Probably won't qualify. Alex, there is one player that we might know who was at.
Alex. Yeah, you asked me yesterday if they had any notable players, and the first player I took notes of was Dan Schumer, who we've seen in the Premier League.
Looks like Troy fucking Davies.
For Bournemouth and Everton, and the last team I won't mention. But yeah, they had a really good season last season, Girona, but they're a team we have to beat in the Champions League on Wednesday. They've had a poor run in the Champions League, and also they're not doing great in the Spanish league. So must-win game and get a good seed for the next round in the top 8.
Alex, are their fans dangerous? Are their fans dangerous?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Me and Dan are mixing it with the Girona Massive on Wednesday night.
I don't think they'll take note that you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, what I will say is they've got two ex-Scum players. They've got Brian Hill and they've got Dan Juma as well, and they've also got Daley Blind from Man United as well. I think Daley Blind went off injured at the weekend. I know they rotated a couple of players in their game at the weekend, but I think they're keeping their first team for our game on Wednesday, so we could be in for a game. They're not a bad side. They've not done great in Europe. They've had a massive drop-off in La Liga because they've got rid of a few players, but they are still a decent team. They remind me of like a Bournemouth with a small crowd at home that can still get up for the big occasion. So let's not take it lightly. At the same time, I would rotate a few players.
Dan, on a serious note, mate. No, seriously. Why are they rotating players? They're out of the Champions League. They're gone. It makes no odds to them what they do.
Money.
Is it really? And they're gonna know I'm an Arsenal fan because I'm gonna have my guts out all in the away end.
Oh, you better not. Oh, Jesus. There are only 500 official. There's 500 official Arsenal fans in the away end of the game. Let's just say that Trevor and Dan struggle to get an away ticket, but they will be watching the game. I don't think it's going to be on telly.
You can tell them, mate. I'm in the home end, and I don't care. I'm here supporting my team, and I'm very happy to be quiet, but I'm very happy to support my team over land and sea. And if I can't be there in voice, I'm there in person. So
absolutely, we don't miss it. If we can't, if there's not a way, we find a way, and we've found a way, and we'll both be in there with our Arsenal shirts on. Then when we score, I'm going to get my guts out and give it the big shirt around the edge top.
He's saying that now when he's about 16 pints in, but like when he's hanging out his arse.
The safest place, mate. I might have to run on the pitch to get away from Trev because it might be the safest place for me.
It might.
But Fergus, I'm going to be 16 pints in on Wednesday. So what's the difference?
Yeah, that's true. But you can't do 2 days in a row. You're going to have a quiet day tomorrow, Trev.
I need sleep now.
There are some circumstances.
Ferg, just a quick one. I've not seen Trev this bad for quite a while.
It must be the Spanish air. It's not the mojitos. You haven't got mojitos out yet, have you?
He's struggling with a beer, mate. I always thought Trev was a good drinker, but he's let me down today.
Oh, you ginger-headed tosser. Let you down. How very dare you, can you? How very dare you?
Do I still have the ginger joke?
Yeah, but mine's only once in a blue moon, Fred. I want to get Andrew
I've deleted it.
away trips. I want to get Andrew drunk on one of these away trips.
I want to come on a work trip. It's not an away trip, Trev. It's not an away trip, Trev. It's a work trip.
Listen, Alex can't drink in Spain. We had this with Alex before. He was triple part for a while. Mojito Trev came out in Madrid. It must be a Spanish thing because it's happened again today. Fergus, I don't know what you do, mate, but you can't handle your beer anyway. Andrew, I hope you can be a drinking partner for me, mate, because I need someone.
Let's go for it, mate. Come on, let's get it sorted.
And you went to bed too early, didn't you?
Daniel comes.
Alex, let's not go there. You know who's going to get in trouble when it's not me.
Should we bring up Munich, Dan? Should we bring up Munich?
Munich, great trip. Student night on a Monday, all the beer fest on a Tuesday. Wednesday, I couldn't drink because I was ruined. And
Carried on by me. Carried on by me on Wednesday, otherwise it'd be dead.
Trev, where did he go, Trev, after he dropped me off, mate?
Hello, Donna.
I just heard that. I just heard that Dan said he wants to make Germany again because he wants to make the strip bar. Go on.
Ferg, shush. Dan, see these two birds that have just come and sat down in you. Right. I'm getting it wrong.
Oh, I do hope Donna's watching.
I'm getting it wrong.
Inte, you're right. This is getting out of hand.
Honestly, I'll go 6 out of 10.
Right,
and with a few beers.
Right, back in. Listen,
don't you move me, you Irish.
Right, okay, but you have to remember other people are listening to this as well, and it's not their in joke when they listen to you two pissed out. You're nuts. Following on from the Girona game, what are we expecting in the Girona game? I'm going 2-0 to the Arsenal. Andrew, what's your
I do like a bit of lemon skin, mate. I do like a bit of lemon skin.
Oh my God! Just carry on, ignore him.
I think Girona haven't even scored a goal per game in the Champions League so far, and they're conceding over 1.5. So I'm going to go an easy win for the Arsenal. I'm going 3-0.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Liverpool game and they struggled to score against them. I think it'll be a tight game, but I still think we're going to win it. I'm going with the same as you, 2-0.
I don't know what's going on, Fergus. I don't know what's going on, but Dan's just been to the bar and asked for tissues. I don't know what's going on.
My analysis is I don't rate the glasses, but I'd give it a go.
Prediction, please, Trevor.
Score. Sorry, football. I'm going to go with 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Trevor?
Up the arse.
Oh, listen, this is made for a 1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal all day long. Are you pressing the button yet, bro?
I will be pressing the button. Who keeps breaking plates? Stephen, nobody's breaking plates. They're sitting in a bar in Barcelona, so it's noisy, and it's hard for them to turn the mics off. So apologies for that. And apologies for anybody listening back on audio. That's going to really drive you mad, but you should have watched this live. It's been absolutely hilarious. We got Sunday. It's birthday weekend and birthday week celebration.
For nothing.
No, we're not asking you to apologise. I'm apologising to people who are listening, you knobhead.
I apologise to people that have to listen to Fergus. To be sure. Potato.
It's my birthday weekend. It's my birthday weekend.
Sunday, we have Rosie's birthday on the Saturday. We'll be celebrating that on Sunday. And then we got myself and Lyle, who have our birthdays in the coming week. And we'll be celebrating that up in Newcastle. So it's going to be good fun if people can get there. There's absolute havoc with the trains. I know, Andrew, you are trying to look for alternative ways. Dale, who's on the show, can't go. So it's going to be really, really difficult for a lot to get there. I think it might have a big influence on the attendance and the atmosphere, which is a shame for such a big game. But we will do our best, those who are there. I suppose I should...
Can I do an impression? Right? I'm going to do an impression, right, of a startled moose, right? A startled moose. Whatever the weather,
These streets are our own, and my heart will live never. My blood will forever run through the snow.
My good God. I'm going to be 54 next Tuesday. I think I've already surpassed 54 and gone to that fabled 78 already. This has aged me nearly 20 years, this show.
Dad, I've just wet my pants.
I'm not helping you, mate. I'm not helping you. But
Help the poor old man.
Listen, all I'll say is, Stamina, waka, 60 million down the drain.
Don't sing that, Dan. We're not allowed.
Dan, let's get over. Let's get over the road and have that Turkish, man.
Right, lads, I'm going to let you go and have a Turkish and enjoy yourselves.
No, Turkish is for clowns. I'm not going to have one because Turkish Mayo TV is just an absolute twat. So, no.
Okay.
When we see Fergus this weekend, he's going to be fuming with us. He's going to have to write up.
To be honest, I think we've been pretty well behaved, mate. I think we've been pretty good today, especially me. Don't pick on me. I've been very well behaved.
Boys, that was a challenge and a half.
Jesus.
We got through it.
Oh my good God.
That was hard work.
Such
Oh,
hard
my
work.
days.
Dan, Trevor, I can see you in the background. Have a great night out, boys. Enjoy.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Have an absolutely brilliant night out. Let Adam back in
Time
again.
to go.
We are an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans.
I'm coming.
700 of you there. All right, you got on one screen. This.
Here we go.
Are
we on yours? We're on yours.
706 of you watching the show. 708 watching the show. Really do thank you for joining us. It's been bloody hard work. Alex, Andrew.
Good fun, though.
It's been hilarious.
Trevor's got a much better view than I have.
Yeah, I told you.
Yes.
Much
better view.
And he's going to score again.
6 upgraded to 6.5.
You have been watching. You have been watching.
That's with beer goggles, mate. That's worrying.
Dan, we've got him worried. You
have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans.
Don't fuck it up.
That's at the beginning, not at the end. I think.
Oh, he's majorly pissed.
Trev, for the camera. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, boys. Up the Arsenal.
Cheers.
Good on, boys.
Cheers to
Up
Wednesday.
the Arsenal, fuck the Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.